hearty welcome to Grandma's Wealth Wisdom with your neighborly hosts, Brandon and Amanda Neely. This is the only podcast that helps you take charge of your cash flow and leverage your assets simply and sustainably, the way Grandma used to.
Hey, I'm Brandon, and welcome to Grandma's Wealth Wisdom, where we help you break through to a smart, stable financial future with the tried and true wisdom that Grandma used.
And hey, I'm Amanda. Welcome to episode number 83, where we're talking with Jonathan Rivera from the Podcast Factory. And we've titled this episode, How a Small Business Owner Increased His Profits 60 to 70% in 2020. And we're really excited with what JR has to share in this episode. We think you'll get a lot of value out of it. There's a couple mic drops in here. He provides so much wisdom and insight into how he did that this past year, despite everything else. Yep. Brendan, give us a little more of an insight into who JR is.
So Jonathan's been running the Podcast Factory for quite a while now, with, of course, his wife, Cupcake, and it's not her real name, but he has been helping us a lot through the years. Really amazing. He also has a new podcast called ResultsLeader.fm. I totally recommend that one. Not just having people who are quote unquote thought leaders, but people who are actually having results. Now, one of the things I want to remind you guys of is go back to 2 years ago. And the title of the episode that we had JR on was How to Make Money and What to Do with It. And so he was talking a lot about making money and what to do with it. And so this is kind of a follow-up to that conversation. And 2 years later, we've had a few minor things happening in the world around us, but how's that worked out for him? And why do you think his life is a little different? And this is going to be really, really powerful to see. So go back to before pre-pandemic times, listen to that episode and this one. So,
okay, let's welcome Jonathan Rivera. So I don't know if you know this, JR, you're the very first repeat guest on the Grandma's Wealth Wisdom podcast. So welcome back for the second time.
Well, thank you for having me back.
We definitely encourage everybody to go back and check out JR's first episode 2 years ago. He had shared some really awesome value in that episode. We'll put a link in the show notes so people can check that out.
It was recorded actually 2 years ago today, I think, or at least released. It was a really good episode. I just re-listened to it. Hey, I've seen already, even as we've worked together, progress in your journey. And I'd love to hear more of that. Like, hey, what's happened in 2 years? Maybe our audience doesn't know who JR is. What's happened since then?
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say.
The world has changed in the last 2 years. How has your world changed?
Geez, in the last 2 years? I don't know. I've got less hair. That's number one. I might be a little bit lighter. I might have a few less pounds. Definitely have more wrinkles. And maybe a few more dollars in the bank account. But I don't know. For us, life has improved over the last couple of years. I can't say that's what it's done for everyone else, but for us, it's certainly gotten better.
Well, that's interesting that you say a few less pounds, because I know on my end, because of COVID, I've gotten a few more pounds. And I would say not just... I'm blaming COVID, but it was like not going to the gym and all of that and realizing the habits that I was in, I got out of. And that was just over the past year, not 2 years. So,
well, you can spin it any way you want, right? For me, it was, gosh darn, we're in lockdown. I got to get outside. And that's actually Cupcake and I stepped up our workout regimen during COVID. And even now, I was just looking back at my calendar, and I've worked out every day for the last 150 something days, 7 days a week. I get out and get a workout. And for 75 of those days, I was doing 2 workouts a day. So you can take it either way. You can say, hey, I'm going to go eat some Cheetos and make excuses, or you can get your butt out there and do something. And so that's all up to us, isn't it?
Yeah, some good financial lessons there too. And I definitely want to segue to hearing about your financial journey over the last 2 years. I think a lot's changed there too, maybe. Anything come into mind?
Sure, lots of things come to mind. In the last couple of years, what have we done differently?
You talked a lot about the envelope system and doing that. And then you mentioned that you have this wad of cash that you kind of hold on to with a little money clip. And that's kind of like your mad money, which we've adopted the mad money in our books because of that. And so, yeah, do you still carry the wad of cash there in your pocket? And or as things changed, you still do the envelope? I know you were doing it somewhat and kind of moved a little bit from that, but it taught you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the envelope system was huge. That was who was that? T. Harv Eker. I was really reworking my financial thermostat, and that has all changed quite a bit. And the things that I was thinking about were the obviously working with you guys, getting Profit First installed into my business last year was huge. And I don't know, it's just weird how things happen. Like we were talking to Zen, by the way, that you guys introduced us to, and we're now working together. And he was blown away by how much we had increased our profits last year when everybody else, so most businesses were down. I think we were up nearly 60 or 70% last year. And it's so strange. I don't know how that happens. You start reallocating things and putting some focus on what matters, and all of a sudden you got profits. It's strange how that works, but that was thanks to you guys, the Profit First. The other thing that we implemented, obviously, was putting the insurance in place and starting to load some money in there, but not just load it. Loading it is boring. Using it to grow the business has been super interesting. And so I don't know what happened in the last year or so. I'm rich AF, or at least I feel like it.
Yeah, let's dig into those two different things you mentioned, Profit First, and then the insurance policy, the bank and yourself properly designed whole thing. Which one do you want to go to first?
Whatever you want, you lead the way.
Well, let's talk about Profit First, since it has first in the name. How has 60 to 70% more profit changed your life? Like, what's the result of where you sit today, the difference that system's made in your life?
Well, couple things. I look forward to the 10th and the 25th so that I can play with my bank accounts and move money around. But it's nice to have that profit account set up, which I didn't have for many years. In fact, when we met, I was severely underpaying myself, and I was working really hard, and I would tell myself that I was reinvesting into the business, and it was just BS. I was just really being a slave to this company and being undervalued and underappreciated and working my tail off. And it's no wonder the company didn't grow because I wasn't being rewarded. And so that's what I think changed last year was, holy crap, the more money I make, the more money I make. Oh, wow. Is that the way it's supposed to work? So yeah, it was an interesting year last year as we did that. And that's the new version of the envelope system, isn't it? We got the profit account, we've got the owner's account, we've got taxes, all that stuff. Those are kind of like envelopes. And so that's been fun, and it's been excellent to be rewarded as the company does better. I do better. What a great idea. And what a great incentive to grow the company. And so I don't know how it works, but I do know that we're making more money than we've ever made before. And I'm also getting paid better than I've ever been paid before. And how has that helped out? Well, I got to stuff money into my insurance account. I got to put more money into my IRA. I got more money into my trading account. And so it has been fun to be a better steward of money. And so I feel great about that. But not only that, I think one of the things I'm most proud of is that last year we donated more money than we've ever donated to our church. And when I started this year, coming into this year, I said, damn, I had a great year last year. What can I do to make this year better? And the number that came into my mind scared me. I said, all right, I did really good last year. going to do 25% more this year. 25%? Like, you're stupid. Are you crazy? And I'm like, that's the first number that came to mind. That's the number I'm going to do. And one of the things that I have been obsessed with, and this actually is bigger than, it's nice to have money. It's nice to put away money. It's nice to have investments. It's nice to have toys. But one of the things that I've been really influenced by Mark Evans, I'm sure you guys have at least seen him, heard of him. He's a guy that mentors me. He's really put this spirit of giving into me. And how can I give more? How can I give more? And I started this last year, and it's really starting to happen this year, is I want to give till it hurts a little bit. I want to feel it just a little bit. That's why when I said I'm going to give 25% more to the church, it's like, whoa, really? Well, yeah, it hurt a little bit for a second, but that's the way I try to do everything now. When I'm trying to give gifts to my family, when I'm giving, they did, I forgot what it was, the Catholic appeal this year. I was going to give a certain amount and I doubled that. I said, that didn't hurt. I doubled it. And I said, whoa, that stings a little bit, but boom, I did it. And every time they mentioned it in the church afterwards, like, I already did that. Done, already done. And I gave more than ever. And so one of my favorite things about this is the having more is great. And to have more, you need to be more and you need to do more. But all of that allows you to give more. And we're in a place right now where we are working to take our giving to another level. And that's a blessing and a gift from our work with Profit First, I would say.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Congratulations on, I know how good it feels to give till it hurts. And that congratulations is all I can say. But it also speaks to how when we transform our relationship with money, it impacts so many other people. Do you mind sharing a little bit about what Cupcake thinks of this whole this use of Profit First and what's going on there?
Well, I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. I mean, she's the smart one in the family. She's the one with the MBA and a degree. I barely
wouldn't know anything about that.
I barely made it out of high school. And so I'm not that bright, as we all know. Cupcake does the work. I get all the credit, but she helped me install the Profit First. And she helped me get all the accounts together and helped me set up the spreadsheet and all that. And she thought, okay, well, just another thing that he's doing. Then as the year goes by and presents are getting nicer, we're donating bigger amounts and we're doing crazy things. And it's like, who are you anyways? Who is this guy? She's seen it happen and she loves it. And she loves that we've taken it up to another level. But what I find most inspiring is, yeah, all that's good, like I said. But the one that gets me is her eye towards giving. Because, I mean, her parents are incredibly generous people. They have taken great care of us. They have set us up. They have put us ahead, and without them, we'd be nowhere. But they are kind of guarded, especially in certain areas. And so I don't know how else to put it. Even though they're abundant with the family and they do lots of things, there is still sort of a scarcity mindset at play somewhere in there. And so the giving thing with her, she's like, you're doing what? You gave how much? We gave how much? What's going on? And at first she was kind of shocked by it. But it just kept on going and it kept on flowing. And I kept telling her, look, this is it. We got it to give it. And we're fine. And so one of my favorite things that happened recently is this idea. Huddy has this school he goes to, Highlands Latin School, a very small school. They're just getting started. They're just figuring things out and we're helping them out. And I had talked about in the future one day being able to help out with financially, being able to help them out. I didn't know how we would do it or what we would do, maybe scholarships or something like that. And just the other day, she came up with the idea, hey, let's go ahead and give $5,000 to school and let's use that to subsidize some people's tuition. So if somebody can't quite afford it, we can subsidize $100, $200, $300 a month. And we can do that for 2, 3, 4, 5 students in the first year and maybe grow it from there. And she was like, she came up with that idea. of subsidizing. She also came up with putting $5,000 over there. Whether we get credit, whether we can write it off or not, it doesn't matter. It's about helping that school and helping push what we think is important in education, in having virtue, in growing upright. Why don't we put our money where our heart is? Right. And so seeing her step up to the plate and wanting to give and coming up with a different way to give than I had thought of is really the most exciting thing that I think I see happening right now. And I think maybe I'm just talking too much about giving, but that's where we are, man. When you get into the abundance mindset, giving is a natural part of that. And I feel like the steps we've taken have put us in a place where we thought this was a faraway future, that in 10 years from now we could give, and we brought it closer and made it happen sooner. And now we want to make more of it.
Grandma always said, eat your vegetables, look both ways before crossing the road, and never risk your financial future on elements of the market you can't control. That grandma, always good for some tried and true advice. And although some of her wisdom seems to have skipped a generation, you don't have to be left behind. Download Grandma's top tips for an independent financial future absolutely free when you visit grandmaswealthwisdom.com. Don't wait. Get Grandma's best tips today.
One thing I like about what you said was just that giving and the model in the church, the idea of tithing and a percentage, like that 10% kind of thing was set up in the Bible. And the way the profit first system, when people ask me, how much should I save for my future? How much should I do for the business? And how much should I do on this? Pay myself. I'm like, it's a percentage, and if your income is building, your business is flourishing, because, the smaller plates are helping you think more systematically. The percentages don't change, the amount does, right? So it's just an extra decimal or two. You make more, you then are feeling healthier because you're making money, right? And you can feel like, oh, there's nothing there. I don't have to hoard it or be fearful. It's all in the percentages.
Yeah, it's powerful. And really, I love it. It's a powerful tool. And we're just getting started. We're only a year and a half in, and I'm almost hitting all my taps, right? You got caps and tabs.
Yeah, current allocation percentages and then target allocation percentages.
Well, I've got some of my where am I? I think I have my tax tap is already met. Very close to my owner's comp tap is very close, and then the profit is just a little bit off. I think by next 3 months I'll have all of those hit.
Awesome. And great. Sounds like you started where you were and you've been moving slowly but surely, just like the profit first system tells you to do. Good.
Follow the instructions.
Great. It's a lot easier to follow instructions when they're laid out so clearly, like Mike does in the book, for sure. Let's move over to the other side of, so what you're doing with this money besides giving it away. You've mentioned 3 things: your insurance policy, your IRA, and your trading accounts. I'm interested how these play into Profit First. I imagine Profit First is kind of feeding them, but kind of how you make decisions related to those, what purpose they have in your life, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I have to be a good steward of that money, and I work hard for my money, whether it looks like it or not. And I've been working for years for it, and I expect it to work for me. And so I have to give my money jobs. And so, the Profit First has been awesome, so that I had some money coming out of the company, actually paying myself. The quarterly bonuses are beautiful. Every 1 or 2, I just splurge and do something crazy. But most of the time I'm trying to put money into my accounts, whether it's in my IRA or whether it's my bank on yourself policy or whatever it is. I try to do like a 4-to-1, 4 into actual investments, 1 fun kind of setup. But yeah, I mean, Profit First has certainly helped me load up those accounts. The quarterly bonuses are beautiful for doing little splurges, but also putting money away. I actually keep a journal, believe it or not. And I know we're not using video, but this is my money journal.
Love it.
What I'm doing with my money every week, whether it's my trading accounts, whether it's crypto, whether I'm putting money into insurance. But I think one of my favorite things to put money into, and I'm planning to put some more into my bank on yourself policy, is I love how the bank on yourself is actually a tool for business. And I never really, well, I wouldn't have known it if you guys hadn't have taught me about it, but it feels so good to be able to put money in there and be able to get money back out to use for things that I need to do. And so I think I've made one or two investments through my bank on yourself where I funded some growth in the business, and then I've allowed the business to pay back my account with interest. So it's money that I earned, money that I put away, and money that I put back to work for me. And so I've done some elaborate things that I don't think I need to get into here, but I've taken money from my bank on yourself. I've invested that into the stock market, grown it, and paid it back with interest. And so I feel like I'm living like JP Morgan these days. I'm like, you guys get to do it. Why can't I? And so having that power is kind of intoxicating to me, and I want to put more money in there, and I want to reinvest more of it into my business, because that's what excites me. I love business. Business is my hobby. Business is my passion. Business is a sport to me. And so finding ways to grow my money while growing my business and having fun while doing it, it doesn't seem right, but man, it's great not to have to go to the bank and be like, hey, can I borrow 10 grand for this? No, I just say, hey, Amanda, I need 10 grand. Get it over here, please. And boom, it's in my account, and I pay it back on my terms. And so I've found that these two tools have been very powerful. I can't say that that's the reason why the business grew over the last year and a half, but I don't know. It seems like not having that stress and having those buckets and knowing where things are supposed to be, and then knowing that I can tap into money when I need it. All right, I want to do a LinkedIn program. I want to hire consultants, 10 grand. Boom, I got the money out, put it right in there to work for me. And now I'm paying myself back with interest. Number one, so I'm making interest on the money. Number two, I'm buying something that is increasing the value of my company, right? If I'm paying consultants to help me grow, not only am I getting the growth there, but I'm also getting the growth from borrowing the money and paying it back with interest. It almost seems unfair.
Yeah. Mic drop. Boom.
So did you know that you made an offer, and we're clients of yours, right? And it was the last year that you said, if you pay upfront for the year, we'll give you 2 months off. And we're like, hey, I don't have that in cash, but I have it in my policy. So I paid you for my policy. And now instead of making payments to the podcast factory, I'm making payments to my policy. And
Sorry, we paid you less money.
Are you charging yourself interest for that too?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Perfect. See, so you're double paying yourself. So you got the 2 months, which made you money, so to speak, and then you're paying interest. This is, if you were to study finances, if you were to study banking, you would see that this is what they're doing all the time with us, with our money. They're lending it out. They're investing it. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And so to be able to take back that power is really something special, but you have to use it responsibly. And I love the idea of paying myself interest. Why would I pay a banker interest when I can pay myself interest? I'm the banker. And so I love that concept of being able to invest in the business that I care about and making money 2 or 3 different ways with that investment.
And I'm sure when we paid up front for the year that you took the money and you're making up those 2 months as well, and probably more so that it's like a win for us, a win for you. It's a really great way to do business together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the whole thing is, okay, what can I put this money into today that's going to make up for the 2 months? Is like, I can put it into the stocks. I can put it here. I can put it there. What's going to make me, or I can invest into a new asset for the business. It's like, yeah, everybody wins if you're playing the game properly.
And you gotta take the control of the game back into your own hands. Bottom line.
Well, and that reminds me of the idea of fractional reserve banking and how they use money over and over again. And what we just showed is we used it between two companies and two people and multiplied it to a degree. And that's really because we both know our numbers, right? We use profit first. And if you know your numbers and you know, hey, I can do this and pay up front and not be stressed. Hey, that's awesome. This is what I want our audience to get is like knowing your numbers, being okay with having a journal and not running away from the numbers, but knowing it and being intimate with it. And then you can be an even more generous giver because of it.
That's it, right? That gives you the power. It's the do more, have more, be more, give more. You got to have those 4 things in place, but the giving comes from all of that.
Say those again. Do more, be more.
Have more, give more.
Have more, give more. Love it. Okay. Well, thanks so much for sharing your awesome wisdom with us, JR. Anything you wanted to add or share that we didn't get to cover today?
No, I don't know. I'm here for you guys. Is there anything that I should have said that I didn't say or anything that you want to ask about that would make this more impactful for the listeners? Because I forgot that we were even recording.
Well, I think you did an amazing job. You said more than I even expected you to say. So thanks so much.
Well, and I would love you to share what you're doing now. So you have a new podcast. You still do the Podcast Factory, but you lead this new podcast that have people that have been, I don't know, in business for a while. Tell us a little bit about that show, why you choose those guests, and yeah.
Well, thank you. So we're doing the Results Leader show nowadays, and it was really an answer to a problem I saw crop up last year where people were out of jobs, people were stuck at home, and people were coming online to our territory, becoming thought leaders. And I just laugh at this concept of thought leadership. It's just something that I think is vapid. Thought leadership. So what? You have an idea. Great. Show me that idea after it's been executed and you have some results. Then it becomes something. And so the concept of results leader is thought leadership is easy. Results leadership is hard. And we're shining the light on people getting results. And so one of the fun parts about this project is it's not just the old, how can I put this nicely? Not the coaches talking to coaches and things like that. Yep. We're talking to different businesses. I mean, painting contractors. We're talking to consultants. We're talking to people working with Fortune 500s and working with small business owners, but people who are out there getting results for their clients. And that's what we're about is like, yeah, show me the results. Show me how you gotten results for the people that you work with. And that's what we really care about. And so, yeah, it's been a fun project. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many episodes we've done, but I know that Cupcake told me I've got episodes all the way through December right now. So apparently we're doing something right. And I think that it's resonating with people. But the concept is fun. It's about results. And that's all that matters. Just like you guys have helped me get results and a bunch of other people get results in their business. Those are the people that matter, the people who are out there getting results.
That's great. I think you're totally right about those coaches that are sometimes I want to be a whatever coach. And life coach of this. I'm like,
okay.
I don't know. I wouldn't follow you, but I wouldn't say that to them, but and that's kind of scares me. And we need to have some kind of metrics to say, okay, what is the results? Like, again, I think, hey, you would not follow a 400-pound fitness trainer,
right?
You would never do that. That you would look at them and say, hey, their results don't tell me I should,
those aren't my kind of results.
Yeah. So doing the same thing in that. And that's, again, why I like Profit First and Banking Yourself. It just shows, okay, what are the results really? And it's going to take effort, right? Running your business, you can have the platforms, but really it takes effort for you to run the business, hire the right staff, knowing all of that to get even better results. And as you grow, being around people who are the next step up.
Yeah, that's right, man. Being around the right people's key.
Yep. Well, thank you for being one of the people that we get to be around, JR. You definitely bring more results to our lives, and we're excited that we get to bring that to you too.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You guys have helped me out a ton, so the feeling is mutual.
Okay. Wasn't that an amazing story of what can happen in a business and with an individual when, like, I think he was taking his money seriously before, but he learned some new concepts, he learned some new systems, and they greatly transformed then the story from there. It's kind of, he mentioned a financial thermostat. It's like he got new thermostats, new definitions of success, right? And that can just change everything. And then like the processes, the systems to get to those new definitions. A couple of big takeaways I've got. I loved how he said, the more money I make, the more money I make, right? It can, once you get, it's kind of a positive snowball. I love this kind of snowballing of, the more you make, the more you can invest in making more, right? Within your business, especially, that we have that power as business owners. It's a good reminder there.
And give is what you talked about a lot about, is giving too.
Yeah. He mentioned, for 2021, he's trying to increase his revenue by 25% and his giving by 25%. But then when he has a special call or like a special thing, they give probably, it sounds like even more than that from what I took away, right? They're, even though it's increasing by 25%, sounds like in some cases they're doubling or they're starting something new. And I love all those things. The one thing I want to think more about is this idea of like a 4-to-1 when we get windfalls or we have bonuses, tax refunds, like different things, taking, I guess that's 5 things you could do, doing 20%, 20%, 20%, right? And so 20% of it could go purely to fun. And then the other 80% is going to building your financial future. And I love that kind of idea for windfalls and what we do with them. Because I know we talk a lot about budgeting, what you do with normal money that comes in, following a 10-10-10 formula, setting aside, X, Y, and Z. But I want to think more about this idea of the 4-to-1 with investments. And then I love the quote, I'm living like JP Morgan. And what that means is having the power, like taking it and using it responsibly and being able to change your life, other people's lives, put it where, align your money with your heart, all those kind of things. Super good.
What I really liked was his taking and being a learner, one, not just saying, oh, I already have it all figured out, but learning from, people, Mike Michalowicz from the book, different people that he's learned from and getting better, and implementing that profit first system and the bank and yourself system, and how that just is that nitro and glycerin that just is really serving him. And I think that is really powerful. And just seeing that in real life, not just us telling somebody, hey, you should do profit first because it's really great. Oh, you should do banking yourself because it's really great. This is hey, this is really great. And this is how it's affecting my life, and not just his life. He's being able to give more, and it's affecting really, because of this system, he's helping kids go to school. I mean, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. So we wouldn't be good entrepreneurs and business leaders if we didn't have a call to action here at the end. If you want to learn more about profit first and or bank on yourself, we're probably some of the few people in the world that know and are professionals in both concepts and think a lot about how they can mutually benefit one another. Mm-hmm. We'd love to chat with you. You can find out more at grandmaswealthwisdom.com/intro, where that'll have a nice introduction of what we do and how we work. So that, or just check out grandmaswealthwisdom.com, click request a meeting to schedule a time with us if that's a little easier too.
Or just give us a call, 513-447-6501.
Yep. And then be sure to subscribe. We've got some really awesome shows scheduled this summer. We're doing a summer of interviews, so you never know the really awesome person you're going to meet next.
And of course, leave a review. If you like this episode, leave a review. We'd love to hear how this really changed your life. So until next time, keep building your wealth simply and sustainably so you can break through to a smart, stable financial future. It doesn't have to be just JR and us. We want you to as well. The topics presented in this podcast are for general information only and not for the purpose of providing legal, accounting, or investment advice. On such matters, please consult a professional who knows your specific situation.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.